Welcome to the Junior News Network. Tim Bergen, anchor. Zach Davis, reporter. Ned Flanagan, analyst. And special guest, Robert Moses.
Hello, welcome to the special broadcast of Freedom Summer on the Junior News Network. My name is Timothy Bergen, and I'll be your anchor for this evening. Our first story, Freedom Summer, has been developing all summer throughout the South and has finally reached a tipping point. If you, for some reason, have not been following the story, let me get you caught up to date before we take it live to our field correspondent. The struggle between African Americans and white supremacists have been going on in the South since the abolishment of slavery in 1865. But as we all know, not enough has changed for the African Americans. Things started to change in April 1940 when younger protesters formed the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, or SNCC, to help against racial segregation. Robert Moses, a Harvard-educated man from New York City, saw footage of the injustices in the South and sit-ins on this very station, and decided he needed to join the SNCC and bring along other white activists. One of these activists was named Andrew Goodman, who, like Moses, was from a well-to-do northern white family, but felt sympathetic to the African American cause. Andrew, along with Michael Schwerner and James Chaney, went to inspect the damage of a church burnt by the KKK on June 21st, 1946, and were never seen again. It is suspected that these men were killed by the KKK. With all that in mind, let us go live now to our field correspondent, Zach Davis, who is with Mr. Robert Moses.
Thank you, Tim. I'm sitting here with Robert Moses, founder of the SNCC organization down in Mississippi from the Freedom Summer. Mr. Moses, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Why did you go down to the South and decide to help?
Well, I was born in Harlem and then attended Harvard University and got a degree in philosophy. And after I graduated, I got involved in the civil rights movement and really inspired to go down and try and help after seeing the injustice being done there.
Cool. Tell us a little bit about your organization.
The Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee is devoted to helping African Americans access and use their rights, and especially voting rights, because in Mississippi alone, only 5% of the African Americans there are registered to vote. So that's clearly a problem.
Yes, it is. Tell us how you first felt when you heard of the deaths of the three men.
Although I was deeply saddened to learn that 3 of my co-workers died, I also realized that this case would draw a lot of attention to the plight of African Americans in Mississippi because 2 of the workers were white, and so that would draw a lot of national interest.
When you were in the South, what were some of the differences you saw then in the North and some of the organizations like the KKK and voting rights?
Well, clearly in the North, even though there's a little bit of racism still lingering, it's not as deeply entrenched as in the South. And in regards to KKK, oppressive organization trying to keep African Americans from expressing their civil liberties. And voting rights, as said before, only 5% are registered to vote. And if we can get more to vote, then that can improve conditions for people.
So do you feel that your work in the South is done after the Freedom Summer, or is there still more that needs to be done?
As shown by the deaths of my fellow workers, there's clearly a lot more that needs to be done to change attitudes and racial stereotypes in the South.
Thank you, Mr. Moses.
Thank
Back to you, Tim.
Thank you, Zach, and Mr. Robert Moses for your time. I would now like to send it over to Ned Flanagan for a little commentary.
Thank you, Tim. The killing of these 3 men, specifically Goodman and Schwerner, has highlighted something the entire country has turned a blind eye to: the unjust killings of people fighting for civil rights and equality throughout the South. Although tragic, I deem these killings essential to the larger civil rights movement. These events have highlighted the injustice and have sparked the call for change. It isn't easy to speculate exactly how the events that have taken place this summer across the country, and specifically in Mississippi, will affect the fight for civil rights. However, there is little doubt in my mind that the amount of media attention the story is getting will help change the state of Mississippi forever. The killing of these men has uncovered the injustice that is the government in the state of Mississippi. As I see it, the events that have taken place this summer will serve as a catalyst for a long-needed process of change, not only in Mississippi, but throughout the South. These murders have highlighted the brutality of Southern racism, and I hope the killings will cause people to thirst for change in our government. Perhaps, out of all this, the FBI will finally be forced to do something to stop the Ku Klux Klan. As long as the Klan remains, equality cannot be attained. All I can hope is that the FBI can identify the killers of Goodman, Cheney, and Schwerner and bring them to justice. Looking at the effects of the killings in the long run, I believe revealing the injustice in Mississippi will start a slow process of routing long-held racist beliefs and ideals held by many Southerners. These events and this entire summer will no doubt change the views about racism in America forever. Tim, back to you.
Before I wrap up this special broadcast of Freedom Summer on JNN, I would like to thank Mr. Robert Moses for his time, as well as Zach Davis and Ned Flanagan for their outstanding reporting. For all you youngsters watching this program, this event can be important in those new advanced placement classes your high school may now be offering. The events of this summer, Freedom Summer, show the theme of national identity and the thinking skill of historical causation. So remember that for any students who plan to take these new advanced placement classes. On a much more lighthearted note, the movie Mary Poppins premiered over the weekend, getting rave reviews with many families flocking to see it. Personally, not much of a fan of British accents, but if that's your thing, you should totally go see it. Well, there's a big red light in front of me telling me it's time to go. So for all of us at JNN, thank you for watching, and stay classy, America.